came across this expression once which said, "You're not responsible for your traumas, but you are responsible for healing them." And I agree with it. You're not responsible for your traumas or your hardships. You're not responsible oftentimes for chronic illness, usually. You're not responsible for childhood traumas, abuse, for example. There's many things that will unfold in your life that you're not responsible for, but you are responsible for healing from them. There are also many things that you've participated in, forms of conflict. Maybe you were in a bad relationship, certainly disputes. Maybe you got involved in some type of material or financial dispute, which carried a low vibration. There's many, many different events that will happen throughout your incarnation that involve a particularly pronounced low vibrational energy that carries with you. And sometimes the events are of the past and they're still affecting you today. Sometimes the events are actually ongoing and they're in some type of chronic state. Regardless of the circumstances, if your vibration around it is low, then that vibration is a liability that you're carrying forward. So for example, if you had a bad relationship and a bad breakup, and years ago it came to an end, but you still carry animosity for your partner, you haven't made peace with it yet, then that animosity is a vibration that's burdening you. If, for example, you have chronic illness, and no matter what you've tried to do, you haven't been able to fully heal from this illness. If you're in a state of frustration or despair or anger, then the vibration that you're emanating, which is a choice, is burdening you. And so part of the journey right now, and it's particularly important now, is to make peace with any events, either current or of the past, that are emanating a low vibration. So anything that elicits the feelings of guilt or shame or contempt, anything that orients you into a state of despair or animosity, all of those low vibrational energies, which is just based on your perspective of events of the past where you feel that you've been the victim and you've been wronged, all of that in one way or another requires resolution. And the resolution comes in many different ways, and it's very personal to the individual. I can't tell you how to resolve it. It's your journey into desiring resolution, which is to shift the energy from a state of low vibration to one of acceptance or neutrality. And then perhaps if you exceed that, if you can actually even go further, you may move to a state of gratitude, recognizing that the events that have unfolded somehow in some way were necessary to bring you here, and to be grateful for where you've arrived. Okay? The planet right now is moving through what's known as the ascension, and I'm sure many of you have heard of it. To simply understand the ascension, you just have to recognize that the vibration of the entire planet is accelerating. The vibration is raising up. The incarnates here, whose vibration is not congruent with that of the planet, will have a hard time staying. It will become increasingly difficult to maintain the incarnation if it's misaligned with planetary vibration. And one of the simple ways that you can begin to raise your vibration is to slough off the heaviness which you have experienced either in the past or the present, and start to reorient your thoughts around it. I'm going to show you a beautiful little clip. Erica was kind enough to allow me to share this. It's one of the discussions that I had with her as she navigates, she moves through the energy that she experiences related to her some unfortunate chronic illness. And you'll just see how we discuss the implications of what she's experienced and how we start to reframe or to open up her consciousness to see it ever so slightly differently, and to go from a low vibrational perspective to one that's more neutral or more of acceptance. All right, and light and love, everyone. Enjoy the clip, and we'll speak again soon. Yeah, and I believe that the physical body is nothing more than a reflection of your spiritual health. What's challenging for you is that you incarnated with this adversity as a mechanism to reach consciousness.
Right. So it's been identified. I get it. It's been identified. Still a little mad at it. It feels like, you know, how you fought with your siblings and your parents say, you know, make up or say you're sorry. You know, you say you're sorry and with gritted teeth. That's what I feel like.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. We could write a book on it. There's the stages of overcoming pre-incarnation grief.
Yeah.
It's normal, but I can tell you that it is, your vibration is critically important to your healing. And the day that you say you may not get to gratitude. That's the ultimate. I think you actually will be.
I'm getting there. There's days.
You may get to neutrality and acceptance.
And that's enough.
Because you're no longer bringing low vibrational energy into your body and your aura. Anger is a very heavy, dark vibration, and the intensity of it has ramifications beyond just the moment.
Yeah.
I think we're going to actually expand your consciousness around what's really happening, and then we're probably going to institute the right prayers for you. And then you're going to have to work on your vibration and the recognition of the energy that emanates when you're in a space of suffering. And you'll start to reorient your being around the pain, which will open up the possibility for the next chapter to unfold.
Okay.
You've gone through a few different cycles with this thing. You're coming to the end of the beginning, is the way I see it.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah, I think it's the end of the. I think this will set you down a different path. But so that's what I would suggest. If you are sending, you don't have to send it love, actually, in the traditional sense. Like, you can be dealing with a lot of pain. You can be conscientious that you're in pain. The physical body is suffering and it's emanating vibration. It's emanating a legitimate pain. And you're taking medications to help quell that pain. That's all very true.
Right.
But it's when you yourself become angry, that part, it might seem difficult, but that part you have control over.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing wrong with saying my body is suffering and I'm experiencing pain. People experience pain all the time. The energy of this motherfucker is destroying me, you know, or I can't believe that
he's there.
That it's still happening. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That vibration, right? That's the one that it's infinite creator, return me to love and light. Infinite creator, accept my request for forgiveness as I have emanated a vibration that does not serve me, that does not call me back to you, that is resident within me. I ask for your forgiveness as I work diligently to release this vibration of anger. Come forth, Lord, and help me. Whatever language is comfortable for you. Come forth, Lord, and help me. Bring forth the strength and the knowing to break from this pattern which has conditioned my human mind. It's not in any way to minimize your suffering. It's with full recognition of what it is that you're experiencing. It's simply calling you into a state of greater consciousness to see however you can to elevate your state of being while you're physically suffering.
So I'm not a part of creating the pain mentally. I'm not sure how to ask the question.
Is your vibration creating the pain? Are you saying like
maybe
is your mental state responsible? I would no. So this is going to be a harder conversation. So
okay.
So your mental pain isn't creating the pain. The pain, I believe, is the intention. This is just my belief. I need to be stronger, but this is a very personal conversation. So I really have to be profoundly clear with my big disclaimer here. I could prove to be completely wrong. Right. So you'll take it with a humble grain of salt here.
Yep, got it.
So what I believe is happening with you is on a pre-incarnation basis, the decision was to have a benign growth eventually lead to a life-changing event into your 30s. And that from that point onward, a level of suffering to ensue to act as a catalyst to bring you into consciousness. And then upon reaching consciousness, an opportunity for profound growth and personal development to gain complete and utter recognition of your vibration as the final mechanism to allow for the pain to resolve itself. And so there is nothing you could have done differently to not have had the growth. And it was already, the die was already cast that you would have the surgical procedure and then what unfolded largely thereafter with a little bit of selection, I guess, or choice within the process. But generally, right now where you are is requiring you to step into full consciousness before you'll have an opportunity, not full consciousness, greater consciousness, before you'll have an opportunity for that pain to move away.
Sorry, my cat is, I'm listening, but my cat is
Your cat,
wanting to get on the video too.
bring the cat on the video. The cat needs to be
Let's see if
seen,
he
not denied the feeling.
Whoops. Exactly. He doesn't, oh, he's going up in his window. All right, we're good.
But that's the belief. So on the one hand, if you're not able to overcome the vibration of anger, if you're not able to overcome the low vibrational tendencies of the illness, that is the manifestation of the human mind, then I believe the illness persists. If you're able to elevate above the suffering without minimizing the truth, which is that your body is suffering, you needn't deceive yourself. It is true. You're suffering.
Yeah.
It's okay to acknowledge pain as pain exists. But your full growth and potential to alleviate that pain, ironically, comes by mastering the vibration that you emanate while observing the pain or experiencing the pain. You want the best pop culture reference here? You remember Forrest Gump?
Yep.
Remember Lieutenant Dan was supposed to die in the battlefield?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because his pa and his grandpapa and blah, 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 like for many generations, all the men in his family always died on the battlefield.
Yeah. And why didn't you leave me there?
Why didn't you leave me there? I was supposed to die. Forrest, what have you done to me? And he's like, Lieutenant Dan. And he pulls him out, of course, and you can see him, and he's got the ice cream, and he drops it into the bedpan, and he's so depressed because he doesn't have legs now.
Yeah.
And then you can see him goes through all the different stages where he's drinking like crazy, and he's got this destructive lifestyle. And then Forrest Gump gets the boat, and Lieutenant Dan shows up there in his wheelchair at the end of the pier. And he says, he said, if you become the captain, I'd be your first mate.
It ends up on top of the mast during the storm. Yeah.
And he's yelling and screaming at God, like, is this the best you got? Come on, bring it. Is this the best you got? And then they get through the storm. And the next scene in the morning, Lieutenant Dan there is on the edge of the boat. And he says to Forrest, he says, I never thanked you for saving my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the first moment he shows gratitude at any point in the film. It's the first moment he exhibits gratitude for his suffering.
And then hops off the boat and swims away.
Brilliant memory.
Well, goes for a swim. Yeah.
He does the backstroke.
Mm-hmm.
And Forrest Gump says something like, and I think he made peace with God that day. And then the rest of the movie depicts Lieutenant Dan in a very beautiful, loving light. Because and then he invested in some fruit company, and we didn't have to worry about money no more. And I say, well, that's good. One last thing.
You had the accent down and everything.
I don't know why I got the Forrest Gump accent. but then he gets the new leg. Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs. And
you got new legs. I can't even do it.
He gets new legs, and he gets a girlfriend, or wife. You know, like everything fits into place for Lieutenant Dan when he moves into a high vibrational state of gratitude for the life as it unfolded and the growth opportunity that it provided him. Right? At some point, you'll need to make peace with your illness.
So do I thank the motherfucker for coming?
It has to.
Right or is now, that?
So if it's not how you feel, because you don't feel grateful for the
well,
you don't feel grateful for it yet.
No.
So don't exhibit that which is not authentic. Or what you can intellectualize is that this is part of a greater plan, and that you've arrived at this very moment because of everything that's transpired prior to this very moment. And if you have genuine gratitude for where you've arrived, if you like who you are, if you like the career that you're in, if you enjoy the marriage that you've worked on and developed, all of those are a byproduct of the journey up until now. And so with a great deal of gratitude for how everything else has worked out and brought you to this moment, you can in turn start to recognize that there is a consciousness at play that is far greater than anything you could ever understand. But in some ways you can begin to surrender to the unknowing of these various details and moving parts within that process. And in doing so, that vibration, which is one of neutrality or surrender or acceptance, whatever word you want to use for it, that energy will start to accelerate your orientation into the knowing and resolution.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's the best I got.
It's good. And now I have Lieutenant Dan in my head.